Roger, we'll start off with roll call, please.
Opperly.
Here.
Barton.
Here.
Betteridge.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Shook. Spar. Quorum.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Everybody had a chance to look at last month's minutes? If there's no amendments, do I hear a motion for approval?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the minutes of January 26 as presented be approved.
Second.
Who made that motion?
We tied. Second. I'll claim it.
You'll claim it. Voice, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay. Only case tonight, case number 15-03. Anthony and Liz Suits are requesting a variance for a fence at 110 East Adams Street, Zone B2. Front yard fences are ornamental, meaning 75% open, not more than 42 inches high. This fence is 42 high and approximately 50% open. If you'd like to step forward, if you're going to speak to this case and have Arlene, she can swear you in, and then you just step to the podium and you can give a brief. Okay. Okay, thank you. Oh, you want to step in front of Arlene and she'll can do it right there. Just state your name and, well, obviously, and your address.
Anthony Suits, 110 East Adams. Thank you for the opportunity to come for this variance here. I'll give you a real quick history. Most of you are familiar with the home there at 110 East Adams. It's been there a lot longer than any of us are alive. Collins family owned it for almost 50 years, and then when they become elderly, they had to move into a nursing home, and the home was empty for almost 5 years. It fell in disrepair. It became a hangout for teenagers and young adults. When we did the initial walkthrough in 2010, we found that the basement had at one time 3 feet of water in it. It had termite damage in it. In other words, it really wasn't an investment to make. But at that point in our time, we weren't looking for an investment. We were looking for a place to make a home in Morton. And we decided that we were willing to take on the task if we could stay historically with the home and kind of bring it back to whatever glory that it had during the time that it was built. The only other bidder was a local business. He was half of what we bid, and his intentions were to raise the home and put a parking lot on it. And of course, because of the fact that we were higher than him, we got the bid. And for about the next 10 and a half months, we worked diligently on the home, and our goal was to keep it historic as much as possible. And we took it down to the studs, and everything on the inside, on the outside, is, as you see, is very, very new. But during the time, the spring of 2011 is when we moved in. And as the weather began to get warmer, we were faced with the fact that our home had been a hangout and a fun spot for the young people, and also for the transients that would come through from 2nd Avenue, cut through the backyard, and through over to the Dairy Queen or over to the American Legion, and it sometimes staggered back the other way through our backyard. And it become quite the problem. The young people have not stopped being a problem. They cut through our yard. We have had a couple of things that have come missing from our property. And this past year, back on our patio, there was a small little group that was hanging out back there. Not sure what they were doing, but there was a smell of marijuana, and one can only surmise. And at that point, we decided that we were going to have to do something to protect our home. And as I said, we didn't take on the project as an investment, as a home. But with every dollar that you put in that thing, you have to start being concerned about what's going to happen to it. And at this phase, we decided that we wanted to put a fence in. And I hadn't even talked to Mr. Spangler yet or anybody from the village, because we just wasn't sure what we were, number one, able to do, and number two, we wasn't sure what would fit with the home. And after research, what we came up with for this style of Italian 8, which is a modified Italian 8, which is just very simplistic, was a picket fence. And I'm not sure if you know this or not, but that particular home was built in 1898 across the street in the field that is now the park, using the longleaf pine, the extinct longleaf pine. They stick-built it, and then at the turn of the century, they moved it on logs and built the basement and stuck it on top of there. To our knowledge, there was never a fence, but fences for this period are usually 4 feet to 60 inches, 48 to 60 inches sometimes. Scalloped wooden picket fences. You always hear that white picket fence with the old folks. And so we decided that's what we were going to do. When I submitted my initial paperwork to Mr. Spangler, it was a 48-inch fence with a swooping scallop to actually 42 inches, taking 6 inches off. And he came. Roger Spangler's been a gentleman through this and everything that we've done with him since we have moved into the home. He came out, he measured for me and showed me where I could put the fence. And when I told him about the 4-foot height, he told me you can't do that. It's 42 inches because we got to make sure that we are able to see through as a safety. So I said, okay, we will lower that. And I would like to say that I was taking copious notes in our conversation. Obviously, I was not, but I really thought that lowering it to 42 inches and having the scallop slowly and quietly move to the middle, it would give us enough room. And I thought Roger was agreeable with that. I'm sure that you're going to ask him about that, but that's how that fence ended up the way it did. As I said, we have tried to keep it historic. It's not going to stay the color that it is right now. We are researching colors that would look good and make it a showpiece, not just for us, but for our community. The Pumpkin Fest, thousands of people are by there. And every year when people come by, since we moved there, they've noted the improvements of the home, and people of the community has told us how much they have appreciated it. I just ask you that you would grant us this variance. That's it for me.
Yeah, I like it. I like the looks of it, and I know there was an issue, but to me that's mute. You're in a zone B2, so I really don't have an issue with it. Mr. Swanzik, do you want to say something? If you
Sure, glad to.
You can just stand up. Arlene will swear you in.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sure do.
Thank you.
I'm Dave Swanzig, and I live at 200 East Adams, which would be just one house to the east, facing the same direction, facing Jefferson School. And our home is, it's in the original family that built the home in 1881. And we really we put a lot into ours too, as you know, and the whole family has. And so Tony's kind of saved our bacon when it comes to, dressing that home up and making for a neighborhood for us for the future. So we really admire everything he's done. I go back by the fence probably 4 or 5 times a day because I come home for lunch. So and I'm always able to see over the fence, through the fence, see kids, as they, go up and down and go to the after hours thing, and their after school program. I just really feel like I can see all the time, and so I feel like it's safe, and it helps. It does cut down on all the foot traffic that likes to cut through, and so it's a real benefit to the neighborhood and to us and for Morton. So I really support the look, and he's a good craftsman. So I'll have him do stuff in my house if he had the time, but he doesn't. Anyway, so that's really what I got to say.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Well, I feel like you went through your due diligence and there was just a miscommunication. I don't think there was any, I don't think you were trying to put one past anybody or anything like that, so I'm fine with it.
If there's no other questions, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve case 15-03 under 10.2C as stated.
I'll second it.
Betteridge,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Ockerly,
Yes.
Barton.
Yes.
Yeah, that's approved.
It's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of staining.
Yeah.
I don't envy you on that. Yeah, it's going to be a job.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll hope to have that done before summer here.
It'll be nice.
Thank you.
The house looks nice.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for your help. You're welcome.
Roger, you have anything else?
I do not.
Mr. Newhouse?
Only to remind you that I have 2 more meetings with you, and then I will be out of office. So my successor has not yet been named. I'm working with the mayor on who's going to do that, but we don't know the answer yet. And so I will, if I find out anything that you need to know or can use, I will get it to you. But otherwise, somewhat time between now and the 1st of May, you should have my successor on board, and I will disappear from view.
It's because of me, Mike. That's why he's trying to find somebody that will agree to work with.
You are tough.
Yeah,
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
And we do appreciate what you've done.
that's right.
Been
Thanks.
very helpful.
We appreciate what you have done.
Okay, with that, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn the meeting tonight.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're good.
Thank you.